Hi, I'm Raylene, and welcome to Khaleesi Clues. Hopefully everyone has time for a quickie this afternoon. The subject of this short video will be discussing a new theory for the Catspaw Dagger. I do not believe it contains anything that would be considered a spoiler. So with that said, let me get started by asking, was anyone else as completely shocked as I was to see the Catspaw Dagger in episode 5 for House of the Dragon? Surprised by the fact that Aemond took the dagger from his severely injured brother without even shedding a tear? But also, more importantly, the actual condition of the dagger. Aemond had already cleaned the blade and it was still in perfect condition. For those who may not have ever noticed, the Catspaw Dagger that we saw in Game of Thrones is actually different from the Catspaw Dagger that we currently have on the House of the Dragon. If you compare the two daggers, you will see that the handle is quite different. Now, I had assumed that the change would have been caused by when King Aegon had been caught in the fires of Vhagar. That due to the intense strength and heat of her flames, it would have damaged the original handle and caused the melted gold appearance that we see running down the handle. Since the dagger was not damaged by the Vhagar incident, my next best guess would possibly be during the future fires at Summerhall. There is one other idea that I have contemplated, and that is this question. Could there possibly be two Catspaw daggers? Like a set of twin daggers that have been separated over time. Remember, just because I say twin daggers, that doesn't mean they have to be identical. Just the same as Prince Jaehaerys and Princess Jaehaera, or even Cersei and Jaime Lannister, are twins but are clearly not identical. You might even consider the unforgettable Daario Naharis' favorite set of weapons as twins. His auric and dagger are referred to as his ladies because although the blades are different, their golden hilts are matching naked, wanton women. Even a father of twins himself, Tywin Lannister, had a set of swords created from Eddard Stark's greatsword, Ice. Although Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail are different in size and appearance, I would consider them twins since they were forged at the same time from the same sword. Now, other than those possible vague clues that I can think of off the top of my head, I really don't have any solid evidence that there is actually two daggers. It's just mostly my imagination at this point. There is one more thing that may add a little more intrigue to this theory, and that is the actual prophecy that King Viserys shows Princess Rhaenyra, which is hidden on the side of the Catspaw Dagger. When the blade is heated by fire, the prophecy appears and reads, "From my blood come the prince that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire." Very interesting prophecy indeed, but the way it is written is even more interesting. The very first three words of the prophecy, "From my blood," which makes you think the prophecy is talking about the future bloodline of Aegon the Conqueror. From his bloodline will come the prince that was promised. I'm sure that is obviously referencing the eventual birth of Jon Snow. But the way George R.R. Martin writes, with his hidden clues, symbols, and cryptic wordplay, a prophecy almost always can be interpreted in multiple ways, which made me think of this. Let's take a look back in Season 1 for House of the Dragon, Episode 7, titled Driftmark. Queen Alicent is arguing with King Viserys. She wants Rhaenyra or Luke to be punished for injuring Aemond during the boys' fight, which resulted in him losing his eye. Unsatisfied with Viserys' decision, Alicent grabs the Catspaw Dagger, attacks Rhaenyra, and ends up cutting the princess's arm. Blood is seen flowing from the wound. Many years later, the birth of Jon Snow will come from not only Aegon the Conqueror and Rhaenyra's bloodline, but also, coincidentally, from Rhaenyra's actual blood that was spilled after being cut by this dagger. Now, flash forward to season 1 for Game of Thrones, episode 2, titled The King's Road. And in that episode, we have an injured future king, Bran Stark, lying in a sleeping state while Lady Catelyn Stark sits by his bedside. A man appears in the room, armed with the altered Catspaw Dagger, and attempts to assassinate Bran. Catelyn struggles to protect her son and fights with the man. It is only after the man is defeated by the direwolf Summer does Catelyn realize how badly her hands are injured, nearly cutting her fingers almost to the bone. This wound now causing blood to spill from her hands. What happens shortly after that? Bran Stark miraculously wakes from his long sleep, almost as if you could say he has been reborn into the land of the living. It makes me wonder, with both situations resulting in blood being spilled from the two different looking daggers, does this foreshadow a future problem between Jon Snow and Brandon Stark? Could there possibly be two separate Catspaw Daggers that end up producing two separate princes that were promised? A possible Song of Ice and Fire reference? Jon being the Targaryen bloodline and symbolizing fire, Bran being of the Stark bloodline and symbolizing ice? If so, what type of song will that be? A sound of violence with swords singing and clashing? A future war of the woods with the powers of dragons and their dragon lords fighting against the power of weirwood trees and their greenseers? Or will it be a song of harmony, with both sides, ice and fire, joining together and fighting for the living against the evil forces of the Great Other, who is hell-bent on destroying anything with warm blood in their veins? I guess all we really know for now is that we have two very different looking daggers that at this point are supposed to be the same. I thought it was an interesting enough idea that I could share it with everyone and possibly get some feedback. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I hope you have all enjoyed this quickie. If you would like to show support for my channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, or share this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.